Hello, welcome to Record Label Boss Music Industry Monday, and I hope you had a great weekend. I certainly had a very a demanding weekend. Let's say I had a demanding weekend because it was my birthday weekend, and so I had to do a bunch of stuff. But I am back, and it's Music Industry Monday, and today we're going to talk about a topic that occurred to me or that I came across today, and it's actually a very interesting topic. So if you're an artist or if you're a musician or if you're interested in the creative industry, stay on the stream. You're welcome to ask your questions. It's probably going to be pretty interesting to you because it's about something people generally don't know. It's about copyright-free music. And it doesn't only pertain to music, it also goes for other works. So if you are a writer, if you are a musician, if you're an artist, or if you're any kind of a creative person, one of the basic questions that people ask me a lot is, should I copyright my music? Should I copyright my works? How do I copyright my works? What does it mean? How does it work? What's the ups and downs and all this thing? In order to do that, today we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and many other channels. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. I'll be able to see your questions, and I'm going to be happy to answer them. Alrighty, so let us... Oh, where's Max Beauty? Here's a Record Label Boss. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start and let you know why I picked up this topic for today's Music Industry Monday, because it's at the very basic and at the very core of what a lot of people do as musicians, as artists. Also, I want to mention that today we're streaming in full HD to Reddit. I know that Reddit has been having problems recently with full HD format. But we're trying again. We actually lowered our bandwidth. We're now serving Reddit at 2,000 kilobits. So it should be able to handle that because it's much nicer when you have the entire picture and you can see everything. Right. So copyright-free music or copyright-free art, is it a good idea? And I have to say that one of the guys in our Discord server gave me the idea today because he talked to me. He's a young artist, and he said, I'm gonna release my music on, god damn it, I forgot the service, NCM or something, no copyright music, which is they say themselves a record label for copyright-free music. And if you know anything about the legalities of music, then you know that is untrue. So I was very intrigued to investigate that. And hey, Ken, how you doing? And Ken already says public domain. That is going to be another of the topics today, public domain as well. So copyright-free, public domain, Creative Commons, how does all of that work? For musicians, for graphical artists, for writers, it's all the same. So at the very beginning, when you start with something that you created, inadvertently and unavoidably, your copyright is created. Because you, as the creator of something, have the copyright on that work. And this is the first place where a lot of people go wrong. Thank you, Yomin, for subscribing. That's very nice of you, dude. Thanks for supporting for 8 months. That's a lot. Yo-Yo, of course, always one of the supporters of the channel. Thank you very much. So, when you make something, you as the artist immediately have the copyright. So whenever it tells you to give up your copyright or give away the copyright for free or make your music copyright free, What they're telling you is to give up your rights to your music. I know that in theory it sounds great and the websites are making it look awesome. You know, it's copyright-free music, it's no problems music, etc. But what they're trying to do and what they're asking, they're not giving anything away. They're asking you to give up the rights to your music. If you as a creator want to give up the rights to your music, that's okay. And then we're going to explore what happens when you give up the rights to your works and to your music. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. So you create a work, inadvertently the copyright is created, and then you have two choices. You can either register that copyright and make it enforceable, which means that you register the copyright by publishing the work with a publisher like us, or releasing your work with a label like us. Any label, doesn't really matter. Or by registering at the various authorities that governments worldwide provide. There is a copyright registry for the United States. There's some for other countries as well. But you have the choice to register your copyright or not. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you don't have to register your copyright because it's created when you create the work, which is correct. The copyright is created when you create the work. But if you have no proof that you made that song, that you wrote that book, that you painted that painting, what is there to stop anybody from saying, oh, I did that? No, it's my song. And in the digital space, there isn't a lot that would stop these people. So by registering your copyright, you're not taking away from anybody yet. You're making sure that you as the creator are actually registered as the creator. You haven't charged anybody any money yet. You haven't said, you need to pay me. Nothing like that. Registering your copyright means only to say, I am the creator of this stuff. Nothing horrible, nothing bad is that. That is something every artist should do. You made it and you say legally, I made this because you did. It's your good right as a songwriter, as a novelist, as a painter to say, I made this piece of art. Really, it's not only music. And Mike DeRoche is asking, I have a question. How do we tell everyone never to give up their copyright? I don't know. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing this stream, Mike, because there's people in this world that are trying to muscle artists into giving up their copyright. And I just found out that there's specific companies that made millions of dollars by arm twisting people into giving up their copyrights and then not paying them for the stuff. That is just insane. And Universal Amnesia says, was UK deserving of second place? Absolutely. I think that Sam is a charismatic guy. The song was well written, produced, performed. Sam's vocals were on point, and there isn't anything you can poke as far as a hole into the performance of Spaceman. You could say you don't like it. That's fair assessment. But in terms of, was there something wrong with the song? I would say no. I think he's a very well-deserved second place. He could be first, Ukraine could be second, but if you saw the public vote on ESC, it's the highest amount of votes that anybody has ever received that went for Ukraine this year. So, when you're setting a new world record for votes, I guess you deserve to win. And Hunky Boy says, hi, I'm Hunky Boy. Okay, so we're going back to, you have created a work and you registered your copyright and you said, I created this art, this piece of art, and it is mine because I created it. A lot of people are thinking that labels would not be happy with that or anything like that, but quite to the contrary. Any label, any organization, before they can start to make money for you, they need to have the security that you are actually the creator of that work, you know, and that you're not pretending to be the creator of that work. Say somebody makes a song and says to me, hey, don't you want to release this song? How am I to tell that this song is actually his and that he didn't steal it? By looking into databases that show the publisher, that show the distributor, or by checking if it's found online. Hey, I am Armful. Thanks for following. Very nice of you. Talking about copyright here. Very interesting topic. And Gaetano says UK unfortunately didn't win towards public. Ukraine, Serbia, and Moldova did. Yeah, but UK had a wonderful song compared to the shit that they're the flaming, festering shit they're usually doing. Sam was actually perfect and even a nice guy. You know, what can I say? I'm shocked. So we were talking about registering your work. Once you have registered your piece of art, and you say, yes, you're in the software industry. I know. But it's the same thing, by the way. I'm gonna say it's really the same thing. Because Armful, if you know, is a developer of Dashbot, up and coming, really cool Discord bot that I wholeheartedly support. He's also awesome dude. He's helped me with the development of my bot a lot. So if you're interested in a kind of like management type of Discord bot, definitely check out Dash. It's a good bot, and Armful is on his server, on our server, and always busy, always helping people. It's very good. By the way, if you're looking for our Discord server, the link's here, countzerorecords.com/discord. And if you want to have our music bot, it's countzerorecords.com/DMB. And if you want to have Armful's management bot, just look up like Dash on TopGG or something. So now I'm going to talk about copyright, and it's good that we have a software developer here, because then we can talk about copyright in a more broader sense. So let's say Armful is making Dashbot. He wants to make sure that people know that he made Dashbot, that it's legally registered that he made Dashbot, and that when somebody tries to sell Dashbot, there is some legal instrument that says you cannot do that. And it's the same for every artist. Software people are kind of like creators. They create software. But in the essence, it's the same thing. You're making something and you don't want somebody else to make money with it. You want to have the choice of either making money with it yourself, giving it away for free, or doing with it whatever you please, because you're the person who created that piece of music, or that piece of art, or that book, or that software. So what you do is you go ahead and you register the copyright for your work, and that internationally works by establishing evidence. It's actually very interesting. There is no, contrary to popular belief, there is no singular database where you can make an entry and your copyright is secured by the entry in that database. What you are doing is you're establishing what we call trail of evidence that you are indeed the maker of this work of art or software. How do we do this? By publishing it, by distributing it, and by entering it into various public databases, which makes it legally extremely difficult to prove to the contrary. Which means that, for example, us as Count Zero Records, we are a internationally registered publisher with the American BMI. And when we publish a song, the database goes into the data goes into the BMI database. And then it's registered that you have published a song through us, and we make the database entry for you. And then it's becoming really, really difficult because BMI is one of the biggest performing rights organizations and publishing databases. And then we do this with distribution and other things as well. And Harmful says, of course, Harmful. That in software it's done through licensing and branding. Really, we make sure to go over everything in the legal forms in terms of service, etc. That's right. But it's the same thing. It's the process of establishing critical evidence that what you made is really yours. By registering it, by giving users license agreements, by entering the software into the ownership of a company, your own company, and keeping it on the software on the company's books as an asset, saying that, on such and such date, company such and such has created such and such software, and that software is worth $100,000, and it is now in the books. And then once you do your annual report and you file with the IRS, it will show up at the IRS. They will stamp it, and the software will be in your books for years. It doesn't necessarily have to be specified. You just have to establish evidence whenever you create something that you are actually the creator of it. I know this is incredibly unspecific, but we're dealing with international law here. And again, there is no single place where you can go and say, I own this stuff. You can patent stuff, and you can make a worldwide patent, or you can make a worldwide trademark. Count Zero Records, by the way, is a trademark. But this is incredibly expensive. If you want to have a worldwide brand, say Monkey Records, it will cost you at the very least $25,000 for 10 years. And then it will cost you probably the same after these 10 years. So it's going to cost you about $3,000 per year that you want to have that brand registered. So for many things, registering it or patenting it isn't really a good idea because it's extremely expensive. Trademarking is great, and it depends on what you trademark. Yeah, we have trademarked Count Zero Records. So hey, Robbie. So you created something, you registered it, you made sure that the world knows that it is yours. And then there is a very big YouTube channel that says that they are a record label, and they will distribute your music on their YouTube channel, but it's a no copyright YouTube channel. And in order to be posted on their YouTube channel, you have to forfeit your copyright. This happens a lot. There is many very large YouTube music channels that do exactly this business model. And I will tell you first why they're doing it, and then I will tell you how they're doing it. The reason why very big YouTube channels need your music is because a lot of these channels are music channels, and they make money by posting new music every day. But of course, they're not making music, so they need music from people that make music, like you and others. But there's one catch. They don't want to pay you for that music, because they say, we are a YouTube channel with 2 million followers, 25 million followers, whatnot. How about we just tell the people that they're going to give the music to us for free, and then we put it on there. Now, you can do that, but in that case, since your music, if it is copyrighted, would tag the video, and you would actually get the advertisement revenue for that video, as the artist rightfully should. These channels then make you forfeit your income and your copyright in favor of them. So what people are saying are copyright-free music channels aren't that at all. These channels make you assign the copyrights to the channel owner, and the channel owner can then play your music for free for him, take all the money from the advertisement, and do with your music as you please, because you have given them all the rights to your works. And Ken Tucker said he had his song Highway 61 lifted from a music site on YouTube. That's right. That was a very interesting thing. There was a guy from Greece or Cyprus who made a video for Ken's song Highway 61 on one of his channels, and the video had like hundreds of thousands of views. And I talked to Ken about it, and we contacted the guy and we said, hey, you're using our artists' music and our label's music on your channel. How about it? Do you want to collaborate, etc.? They never answered. They never replied. And the next day they took the video down. Many times these channels know that what they're doing is predatory or illegal. They live off the gullibility of a lot of people, in that they make them sign over rights to their music, or they use artists' music that they don't even own in order to make money off their YouTube channels. And the newest trick, and this trick has actually been around since 2011 or so, is that these YouTube channels then call themselves record labels. They're not record labels. Just because they have music on their webpage and music on their YouTube channel does not mean that they're legal record labels that will publish and distribute your stuff. They're essentially traps that are fishing for the rights of people. When you send something to them, you have to sign a release that essentially assigns all the rights to the songs to them, and then they can do with it what they want. And then people say, yeah, but when you sign this, the music becomes copyright free and people can download it and use it on their streams. That is, again, not true. The music is never copyright free, because in every single country in the world, there is one law. Somebody made that work. Somebody made the music, somebody made the book, somebody made the software, and the person that made it has the copyright, and they are entitled to assign it to another person. But every work on this planet always has a creator or an owner of the copyright. So there's never a situation where things don't have a copyright. And this brings me to public domain and other things. Recently there was a case where a photographer assigned thousands of her works to the Library of Congress in the United States for free, and the Library of Congress received the copyrights from her because she was the rightful owner of it. And the Library of Congress in the United States then put all these pictures in the public domain, free to use, with a license form that allows commercial reuse. Pixabay or some other picture service then took the pictures that they got from the Library of Congress, because they were available for free, claimed copyright on them, which they legally could, and then filed infringement on the photographer that had given her own photos to the Library of Congress. You have to be clear that when you are giving away the copyrights to your works, someone else can and will claim them, and will then file infringement against you when you use and play your own music. There is absolutely no alternative to holding your copyrights. And the websites that say copyright-free music are essentially a scam, to where you're giving the copyrights to your stuff to a label or to a... They're always organizations pretending to be a label. Many times they're even private persons. and you're giving them your stuff for free. This is the contract. The contract is I give you my music for free and you can sell it for whatever you want. And this is why these YouTube channels are doing that, because it's free music for them. Now, when you go to one of these websites, it will talk extensively on how people can easily and quickly use your music in their streaming, in their works, in their videos, etc. And a lot of people find it appealing because, let's be honest, everybody wants to have his music put somewhere. But this focus on this free component is only there to hide the fact that they're actually taking the rights from you to begin with. And then comes the next thing. These things are then not copyright free. So the website is specifically lying to you because the copyright then rests with the owner, the entity behind the YouTube channel. So you're giving them your copyright, they have the copyright, and what they then do is they give a what's actually called a royalty-free license, which means that your work is copyrighted, but they're not enforcing the collection of royalties for the use of that work, which they couldn't care two shits about, because in the beginning, they got the music for free, number one. Number two, those royalties should be going to you. And number three, how are these guys now making money when they're not collecting royalties on the music that you gave them for free? That's very easy, because once you've given them your music for free, they are able to put up videos on YouTube and monetize these videos and make advertisement revenue from the video that has your music in the background, because they are now the legal owner of your music. The money that YouTube pays for a play of a song of an artist is only about 1/10 of what you get as ad revenue from YouTube. So when you as an artist come to us and release music with us, you will receive the payment for the plays and the payment for the advertisement. And the payment for the plays is only 1/10 of the payment of the advertisement. So they're forfeiting the play payment, but pocketing the advertisement payment. So you should have 11 parts of payment, 10 parts of advertisement payment, and 1 part of streaming play. Click the, yeah. They're saying that 1 part is now for free for everybody, but they're collecting the 10 points of advertisement. And this is the business model. The business model is that they trick you into giving up your rights so they can run ads on your music and they can make money from the ads. And this is essentially how copyright-free music works, because there is no copyright-free music, because somebody has always created it. There's no copyright-free images, no copyright-free books, no copyright-free music, and no copyright-free software. Somebody always made these works of intellect. And then they, who made it, can assign it to a secondary owner. They can sell it and say, I'm selling you this work. You will now have the copyrights. I'm selling you the rights. But there is never a situation where there's copyright-free music, copyright-free books, nothing like that exists. You can only forfeit your royalties. So what the actual situation is, it is copyrighted music that is in a royalty-free licensing model. And this is the way how large channels it's always the same model, work with artists in order to make a lot of money from their channel. And you will never see any money from the channel, and you will never see any kind of ad revenue. And Harmful said something I want to read, because He says software is way cheaper to trademark. We pay around $500 a year for the license. We paid around $1,500 for the filing and initial registration. That's right. But that's probably because you registered only in the U.S. The 25 grand I was referring to is a worldwide license to about 190 countries. Because the pricing depends on the amount of countries that you license stuff to. I have to say I never licensed software before, so I'm not super competent in that, but I'm assuming it's similar. I don't know. All right, I'm just reading some comments here. No such thing as free, just more flexible. Yeah. So when somebody says we're going to do a model to where you're going to give away the copyright and people are going to play it for free, whenever somebody tries to make you give away the copyright for something, know that it is them who are taking it from you. Copyright always rests with either a natural person or an organization, unless something is completely in the public domain because it's 75 years after the artist has died. There's certain laws in certain countries, again, not in all countries, to where a certain time after an artist's death, his works become public domain and they're free to replicate and free to do with them as you please. It has some limitations, but again, this only affects your children's children. It will be 75 years after you died in most countries. So there's Armful says it included the EU and the US, which covers everything we need in terms of legalities. That's right. When you cover EU and US, that's generally a good tip. You have pretty much everything covered because the Russians aren't going to give a shit. The Chinese aren't going to give a shit. The Indians aren't going to give a shit. You can register your stuff in Russia, in China, in India, in various African republics, but people are just not going to give a shit. So they're going to do whatever the fuck they want anyway. The only people that really respect copyright are the EU and the US, and you should make your effort to register your stuff in these two large blocks, because everybody else just completely disregards copyright anyway, and doesn't really care and doesn't really, go ahead with anything. So again, if somebody says to you, put your music on a copyright-free music website, make your music available for free, give away the copyrights to your music, just know that you're always giving them the copyright. Usually they don't tell you that. I've never seen a single website that told you that said, we're going to take all the ad revenue from you, we're going to take the rights from you, we're going to exploit it, we're going to make money, and we don't even have to report to you because you don't own the rights anymore. So when you give a website the copyright to your track, there's nothing they have to give you from that point on. They don't have to give you reporting, they don't have to give you ad revenue, anything. No information, no participation, nothing. It's as if you never made that song, and that song is now fully under their control, and they are then free to do with it as ever they please. So to recap, there's a difference between copyright free, because there is no copyright free. Every work has a creator, and the creator is the copyright holder by default. There's only a copyright that's not registered or enforced, but it always exists. And copyright free doesn't exist, but royalty free exists. And royalty free means you're giving it away for free for people to use without payment. But listen to me, you can do this yourself, always. If you want to give away your music, your book, royalty free, all you need to do is put it on your website, put a license there and say, if you download this song, if you download this book, I'm giving it to you royalty free under these and these and these circumstances of the license, and always put in there, I'm disallowing you from selling it, because this is what Pixabay and other people are doing. they're reselling pictures from people that have foolhardily given their pictures into the public domain, and Pixabay and others are going into public domain databases, taking the pictures from there and then copyrighting them, sometimes even illegal, and then automatically enforcing these copyrights and sending people lawyers' letters. And in many cases, it's the actual creator of the work that then gets a lawyer letter from Pixabay and others saying, what are you doing with our photo? And this girl that I told you that gave her stuff to the Library of Congress, and then Pix pulled it from there and sold it, lost the legal battle against the picture provider, because the picture provider had taken pictures that had a license to where you are free to register and commercially exploit the pictures, had registered them, and she lost the battle against somebody who was reselling her own works. So when a website like that is telling you to do that, just know that when you do that, you will never be the owner of that stuff again, and other people will sell it. And if you have it on your webpage, they will sue you, the creator, because you're taking their stuff, because they now own it. And there's companies that had made Hello One millions by just taking ownership of artists' works that they had foolhardily given away into completely free license types, because some website said to them, hey, why don't you upload your stuff here, and then it's free for the public, and then in brackets, we will take the copyright, but you know, so it's kind of like signing over the deed to your house. And then somebody else saying, if you sign over the deed to your house to me, I will let people live in it for free. Shit, you can do that yourself. If you want people to live for free in your house, you don't need somebody else to give away your stuff for free. And then, of course, there's the component of these websites saying, well, we're going to make you famous. 99.9% of the people that give away their works for free do not become famous. Why is that? Because there's a sucker born every minute. The website record label I was talking about makes $25 million annually with music that they are given for free. People argue contracts with us. What's in the contract? What are you getting? What are we giving? And they're saying that our conditions are difficult or harsh or whatnot. They're not. They're really good. But they will upload their music to a website that has just a one-line contract. By uploading your music, you're assigning all rights to your work to us in perpetuity for no compensation. And you don't own that stuff anymore. That is the easiest recording contract, and there's even people telling me that these people have such simple recording contracts, but that is because there's nothing they're giving back. We have big contracts because we very much talk about, what are we going to get as a label? What are you going to get as an artist? What can you do as an artist? What can we do as a label? And these fuckers just come in and make artists sign over everything. And there's a good question from Nuhania. Does SoundCloud do that? Many websites where you upload music and then people can use your music, make you give them a license. As far as I know, SoundCloud does not take your copyrights from you, but they take a very generous usage license for themselves. That, as far as SoundCloud, as far as I know, ends when you delete the stuff. And this is why you have to be careful, like people like Facebook. Facebook's user license and Instagram, etc., generally never expires. So if you upload something to Facebook, you are giving them a license that they could insist to use for the rest of eternity. Because a lot of people just don't read the terms of service of these social media sites. So what I'm always saying to people is the following. Please, 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 please. Only upload your stuff once we have fully locked down the rights for your stuff. Every time I have somebody upload a video to Facebook, 2 weeks before we release the video, it creates a legal situation to where the artist is giving the rights of an uncopyrighted piece of music to Facebook in eternity by uploading it. And they don't even understand how damaging that is and how horrible that is. They could be losing all the rights to their work just because they couldn't fucking wait for the 2 weeks to upload their stuff after it's copyrighted. After it's copyrighted, upload it by all means. You know why? Because when you have a song copyrighted and your label is the copyrights holder and enforcer, you as the artist cannot legally give away that license, so you can upload it everywhere and it's invalid. And this is what Facebook and everybody else hates, that you lock down the rights with your label first and then upload it to their fucking stinking YouTube channels and social media sites, because then even if their terms of service say they can take copyright, they cannot take copyright from the label because they are the publisher, they're the distributor. And when we put something out as a record label, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channels, and everybody else is second in rights. And we can just, at the click of a button, take all the rights away, make them take down all of the videos, etc. And that is some of the power of a good record label and of the music industry. They can actually very, very effectively protect your rights, which, by the way, you as an artist cannot do. You don't even have access to these systems. It's a horrible fucking shame. I found out later that artists can't even do that. I was and am an artist. I always did stuff. And then when I found out what access I had as a label and what I could do as a label and how I could like fucking copyright strike and argue with people that as an artist you have no chance of winning. I make huge companies retract their claims, and I make huge companies accept our claims because there's nothing they can do. Once a work is correctly inserted in publishing distribution and has all the contracts in lockdown with signed contracts from the artist to the publisher to the distributor, all the Kaposi, there's nothing they can do. And from then on, these websites that want to exploit your rights cannot make you forfeit these rights in just a click of a button. I'm now going to read some stuff. I'm Armful says, I've had companies using software I made try to sue me for not allowing them to sell my software as a service. It's been happening a lot recently with my image generator, which takes a base image and several assets to generate random alterations of the image. That's an NFT thing. It lets you set rarity seeds a lot more. It's basically an NFT generator. Yeah, that's what I said, which is becoming increasingly popular at the moment. Hey, Armful, we should totally talk about, artist NFTs, music NFTs. As a hobby, maybe. For us, for stuff. They never got anywhere with anything, but it shows just how ridiculous people are. Yeah, absolutely. And Noyana says, no, so that's so crazy, never knew any of this. Yeah, and they don't want to inform you about it because they're making millions from it. Give your music away and become a star. People just fucking lie through their teeth in the music industry, especially in the creative industry as well. And Ken Tucker said, I've just recorded a song that will never totally belong to me. Count Zero Records will own part of it by my intelligent decisions. I know what I get and what they get. Seriously, yeah. It's kind of like, how can I say? You cannot screw over Ken anymore because I can send people letters to take down letters to say this is part of our stuff. We're the label that owns this shit. Copyright infringement is a federal crime in the United States, and if you don't take it down, you're gonna fucking pay $200,000 for every song that you raise against us. And that is the beautiful truth of it. But with artists, they can do it. They can totally muscle a unprotected artist into giving up everything they have, because artists usually don't know. They don't have rights assigned anywhere or registered anywhere. It's actually really, really difficult to enforce it. Look, I have signed myself to my label. That might sound stupid to you, but in order to protect my songs as a VO, I need to sign myself to my own label. Because only then I'm afforded the legal protection of the label. It's a little bit tautological because I kind of like I own everything, so why would you do it? But the point is that if you are by yourself as an artist, you're completely fucked. And Lada Pichi is asking, am I covered by that as well? Yes. If we publish anything from you, as long as it's unpublished, you're in a gray area. Publishing means that we have published a book, we have published a lithography, we have published it needs to be published in order to establish critical evidence. As long as you have a piece of art that you post on your webpage and it's not published by the label first, and by publishing I mean the entire legal process of making sure that that work is actually copyrighted, published and distributed, then you're kind of like, somebody posting their song on Facebook before it's released with us. So it's extremely important to know what you can post, what you cannot post, when you can post it, how you can post it, and things like that. And what people are doing is they're taking advantage of gullible people of how it is. And Harmful says, that's why I formed an LLC. That's right. With an agent working to me to handle all this stuff for me. That's right. If someone uses my brain software, any assets I make really without a permission, it's a huge payday for me. $150K per infringement. That's right. And these are the copyright and IP infringements. Harmful is just saying $150K for the software. For us, it's anywhere between $100,000 and $300,000 per song, my friends. Willful copyright infringement of a single song can be up to $300,000 or more. If you can prove that it's that they actually made more money, it can be more. But you're starting at a very high barrier. So if somebody jacks a complete album from us, we're gonna sue them for $1 million. And this is going to put the tears in your eyes. You know what I mean? Because the chance that you're gonna lose that legal proceeding are very high, and then it's up to the judge to put down that number. But they're not gonna go for a whole label, for a whole album, less than 100,000. I've never seen it go lower than 10,000 per song or something like that. So no matter what you do, you're gonna be paying out of your fucking ass if you take a labeled shit. And this is really important. And Lottie says here, but you own my website. Yeah, I think we do. Do we? I think we do. That is actually a very good thing. We're going to put a copyright notice on there. I think the website that Lottie, our graphical artist, releases her stuff under is actually owned by the label, and thereby it's a release by the label when we put the stuff on the website. So that would actually be covered. Good point there, Lottie. And Armful says, yep, 150K is the minimum. They also have to reimburse me for loss of funds for the infringement, length of use, etc. Easy stacks up to 8-figure case. That's right. And it's the same in the music industry. If we can prove that they made significant amount of money, they're going to have to pay all that back. And then the fine is even higher, you know. So the amounts of money that you're going to have to pay if you infringe on somebody's copyright are punitively high. And this is what these websites know. They're facing down the barrel of a loaded gun if they're talking to an artist that is properly represented. This is why they're specially shopping for independent artists, for artists that are unconnected with any publisher or distributor, that have no legal protection whatsoever, and they try to get them to sign over the rights to their stuff to the website, to the YouTube channel. And the way that they're doing this is by saying that they are record labels. How am I going to say this in a very nice manner? Most record labels that I see outside of my industry contacts, like on Discord, on websites, etc., are actually not actual record labels. They're just some dude pretending to be a label. But it doesn't matter. If you're signing over your rights to some dude that pretends to be a record label, it doesn't matter. You signed over the rights to a person. And they now have it, you know? And Armful says, of course, they have to pay for all the legal resources used for the case. That's right. And Ken says, my next album is going to be awesome, so we're going to have to hire a security guard. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm always looking forward to Ken's new stuff. His current album, Naked, is also very good. I like it. Ken's stuff is always good. I'm so happy with it. And Matt Reed is making a brand new album, by the way. He's really hyped up about it. We're going to put out a single before that. So lots of stuff going. And yeah, it's been a little bit chaotic for Ken, but you know, we're gonna get it. So what I wanted to tell you on Music Industry Monday today is that no matter what kind of artist you are, no matter what kind of creative person you are, if you're a programmer, if you work with your mind or you work with your creativity, you are legally entitled to own the rights of your creation. And you need to make sure that people aren't taking those away and making money from it. They will try to promise you all kinds of stuff, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is you're giving them your stuff. I am actually encouraging you to do something even more funny. I encourage you, if you're a great artist, to come and sign up with us at Count Zero Records. If you qualify, join the label, get your stuff copyrighted and locked down by us, then go to one of these YouTube channels and send them the music. Be the evil guy, you know, be the one doing the fucking and don't be the one getting fucked, okay? Because that is going to be seriously funny, you know? Because these are not professional organizations. These are people that regularly take advantage of people that have very little idea what they're doing. And why not? You don't have the right to send them that music anyway, but they don't know that. How are they going to know that? It's a contract between the two of us. It's super lockdown, and I have no problem enforcing it. I got a bunch of lawyers ready to take 20% of that huge settlement we're trying to get. And at that point, once you release something with us, you as the artist, not me. If I send it, it becomes legally binding. But you as the artist, you can just send it to any fucking person. And they're going to put it up. And I mean, what's going to happen is they're going to... what's going to happen is they're going to put up a video, and the video's monetization is going to get claimed by us. And at that point, they're immediately going to realize that that song is copyrighted, and they're going to be like, "Oh, fuck you! What are you doing?" And they're going to take the video offline, you know. But, you know, do that, and then say something like, "I don't know what's going on." Yeah, you know, and I don't know. It would be funny. And Ken Tucker says, "Matt Reed is my hero." Okay. And Armful says, "I might actually be looking into creating a way for software owners to properly register and track ownership of their work in a way that will fuck over any blue chip trying to exploit said software without paying." Yeah, and it's Armful. It's the same thing for music. You need to establish a legal entity like a record label or a LLC that you know a technical company. And that company then needs to register the rights, and then this is a very large part of what a label does, or what we do, and people don't even know about it. People have no idea that this whole world even exists, to where, you know, people can steal their stuff easily. But I came across it today, and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm really doing the wrong thing. I'm actually negotiating fair deals with artists, whereas these YouTube channels are just, you know, doing one-line contracts with people saying, "I hereby give all the rights to everything I make to this YouTube channel so they can fuck me in eternity." Hey, Serby, how you doing? Nice to see you back. Harmful says, "I already have it set up for personal project work. Might as well find a way to expand the software." Yeah, I think that taking charge of our rights is going to be more and more important, because what I see more and more is people getting exploited. Because all of this, let's directly connect to artists. Let's let the artists have access to Spotify. Let's let the artists have access to YouTube. That's all well and good, and that's all really, really awesome. But these big companies aren't doing these things to do you a favor as an artist. They're doing it because they know that artists are usually ill-equipped to handle their rights, and they're easily muscled into horrible contracts. And Alien Accessor says, "Fuck you until they fucking back." That's right. And this is why I never started out wanting to have a label. I made a label because it was such an issue for so many people, including myself, that you would just get raped in the industry if you didn't have representation by a label, if you didn't take charge of your rights. So I just decided to make my own label, and look where I am now. I don't know what the fuck happened, but the point is that people haven't been getting more rights in the last 10 years. People have been getting less rights in the last 10 years. Artists are now in a situation that they've never been before. Never before did they have so few rights, so little payment, and such horrible conditions as they have now. And it's all because of the big tech companies that promised everybody that they're gonna democratize music. They're gonna it's gonna be decentral. It's gonna be shared. It's gonna be fan to artist to fan. And what has really happened is quite the contrary. These very large tech companies and their exploitive smaller brethren have taken control over the creative industry in a very, very alarming way. Hey, Mama Boss. And Serby got a new job. That's very good, but Serby always has like 2 to 3 jobs. Restream bot, are you watching from another channel? Yeah, the Restream bot kind of like repeats all the chat messages so that we can all read what we're saying. All right, so okay, that's 1 hour. Only 2 jobs. Yeah, my plan is that Armful will conduct the secret plan he told me today in private. I'm not allowed to tell you. And he will then become the biggest bot owner and maker in the history of the world. And then we're going to have a marketing corporation, and he's going to promote our music. And we're all going to get rich. So that's the plan. And Serby says drywall and bouncer. That's good. That's good. It's the same thing. It works with muscle. And Noyana says, does the artist who signed up with you get part of the settlement from the infringement? Yes. We generally split, and this is our contract, it's not a secret, everything 50-50 with the artist. So every kind of income that you have or that we have or that anybody has, we cut down the middle. So if you do something and you get $10, it's 5 for one, 5 for the other. If we do something, and it of course includes legal settlements and anything like that, we will cut it down the middle once the costs are deducted for both parties. So of course, if we make, for example, $1 million, but we then have to pay $200,000 in taxes, and then we have to pay $200,000 in legal fees, it will be less. But what we're doing is we're splitting the net profits of the entire artist as a profit center down the middle, 50-50 with them. And I think this is, after 4 years, it's still the fairest possible thing I could find, because I thought and contemplated these contracts for a very long time. And at the time when I started doing it, I was the only one. And now more and more labels are thinking about doing it. Because most labels didn't include everything. You know, they included only certain parts here, certain parts there. But some, like the other day, I was at a gathering of the Austrian Independent Label Federation, and they were like, we are thinking about making a model to where we split everything 50-50 with the artist, including shirts, including performances, including TV rights, everything, just 50-50. And people are like, wow, that's so new. And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I was like, dude, I've been doing this for 4 years, you know? Why? Because the success for one person is going to be the success for the other person. People are going to be like, let's be successful together. You know, there's no scenario in which, you know, we do this and then I have more and then we do that and I have more. You can focus on being successful because everybody knows no matter what is done, it's a predetermined split. Everybody gets their share and there's no mystery to it. And no matter where the money comes in, and this is, by the way, where in classical contracts, the both-sided fuckery generally starts, because artists and labels in classical contracts are trying to make money in areas where the other person doesn't participate. So one person is going to make like rubber toy figurines, and the other person is going to do personal handshake meetings, because those two are excluded from the contract. And for the handshake meetings, the artist gets everything, and for the rubber toys, the label gets everything. And then they're constantly trying to fuck each other, and it's stupid. Why would you go into that? And this is why we have a 50-50 on everything and everything in the future clause, so you don't have to go into a lot of contemplation about, you know, if tomorrow Big Brother calls and wants to have me in the show and I promote my music, what am I going to get? What am I not going to get? You know, it's very easy. Everything regarding the music career. Not when you do acting. Acting is not the music career. That's another thing, you know. And Armful says, contrary to popular belief, software engineering has given me much more freedom. That's right. Working for yourself gives you a lot of freedom. I can only attest to that. I will never go back to being an employee unless somebody pays me an extreme amount of money, and then I'm usually offering them to receive consulting through one of my companies and not hire me as a person, but just make a consulting contract with the company, and it just hire the company. And Armful says that's honestly fair, though. You take on the legal responsibilities of everything the artist would have to take care of themselves at a fairly reasonable price. Yeah, it is. I have to say that I have a lawyer who works for us on a percentage basis, because it's so easy to win these things. Because you either have the copyright or you don't. There is no... I don't know. There's no, we cannot prove it. With us, there is no, we cannot prove it. So I approached this lawyer who is somewhat related with me, and I said to her, our typical settlement is anywhere from 100,000 to $1 million. Do you want to work for 20%? And she said, fuck yeah. Depends on how many cases you were winning. And I said, all of them. We don't do cases where we don't have copyright because we're going to lose them, because why would we do it? We do cases where we have copyright and where we can, of course, prove it. The point is that people go to court against you and they're like, yeah, it's going to be a struggle because blah, 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 whatnot. It's actually very, very clear cut. If somebody has copyright registered on a work, there's very little you can do to argue that it shouldn't be. I don't know. Some person assigned copyright to somebody else. Some person gave copyright to a member of the band, and that member of the band gave copyright to us. Then I can say, I'm really sorry for you. It's horrible, blah, 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 whatnot. But the fact remains, we have it now. And then when there's a stupid channel that says, the artist gave it to us, I say, yeah, but the artist didn't have the permission to give it to you. What do you want to do about it? It was not theirs to give. Do you not check? So when you put something out, you seriously don't check if something is already registered and is owned by a different record label. That's the dumbest defense ever. I did not know this was a Sony song. Which court in the world is going to decide for you because you say, I didn't know this song belonged to Sony? That is totally not going to work in any court. Okay, Armful says anything generating you money from an artist should reward the artist. Yeah, just as much as it's rewarding the label to make it possible. That's right. I always thought it was so extremely easy. Armful says sounds like a bunch of 12-year-olds who want to invite each other to a birthday because of something stupid. The thing is, you have the copyright, you cannot lose. That's right. That's literally true. Are your requirements posted on your website? I'm new here. We have our own process where you can go through. I encourage you to join our Discord server, countzerorecords.com/Discord. We have a room on the Discord server where you can post your music. When you do so, please send me a message. Hey, Avi, I posted my song. Give it a listen. And we're going to listen to some of your music. And if you're good enough, then we can definitely talk. Just know that a lot of people send us. 30,000 people send us every year. I review 6,000 and I sign 10. So your chance is 0.00033%. I know people have said to me I shouldn't say this. Don't say this. This is crazy. You're scaring people off. The point is that if you're really interested in music, if you love music, and I say no, and you stay on the Discord, I will help you become the musician you need to be to get signed for free. I'll fucking mentor you for the next 3 years, and I'll do it for free. If you give up, it's your problem. It's not going to be my problem. This is my offer to anybody. I'll fucking mentor you to the point to where we can make a record that we can think of putting in the charts, okay? And I can do it, and so can you. And I'll do it for you for free. That's the offer. All you have to do is to accept advice and not be an asshole, and don't stop. Don't quit. So that's it. And a bunch of people got signed on the 4th try, 3rd try, whatnot, other than people who were already really, really good, it happens. Like Ken's been making music for 30 years, when he called me, he's like, I got like 70 albums and 100 songs. And I was like, what the fuck? But this random, this seldomly happens, you know. And Wizard says, so you argue the artist cannot have agency over their works? No, I'm saying exactly the opposite. I'm saying the artist needs to have agency over their works. They can never give away copyright. They should never be tricked into giving away copyright by some sleazy website. And they should always have the copyright to their works. This is exactly the opposite. I'm telling people to never send their stuff to a website that says, hereby you're assigning all the copyrights to us because we're a great YouTube channel and we're gonna post your song. You know what I mean? So I'm saying exactly the opposite of what Wizard was assuming there. And Armful says, always interesting with the software. The company that tried suing me for not letting me sell them my software as a service went first in my case rambling on for like 3 hours about how they have the right to use my work. Then my lawyer had his turn and shut them down in under 30 minutes. The proof of copyright and trademark registration was presented and the case ended being closed in the favor. Of course, if you have a trademark registration, if you have a copyright, if you have that legally done, there is nothing that anybody can do to take away your rights. And this is what I'm saying. Register your rights. You can do it yourself, like Armful. You can make your own company, register rights yourself. You can make your own label, whatnot. Or you can work with somebody like us that already has everything set up. And I'll tell you what, the 50% are actually a fairly good fucking deal. If you do this all by yourself, as a single artist, you would not be able to afford it. Just straight up. I got sign on first go. Yeah, no, I listened to some of Ken's music and it was really great. I always liked it. I always liked him as a person. He had such a massive amount of stuff that he was coming on board with. There's just literally no way that I was not gonna sign Ken Tucker. But Ken has a lifetime of achievement in music behind him. And when you're 16 or 17, you're at the very beginning of that journey, and it's a wonderful journey. And I had always wanted to have somebody who would want to mentor me or give me some pointers. And this is why I was very happy that Armful here came up and gave me some pointers about making a Discord bot, because I haven't been programming in a very long time. I was programming when I was younger, and so we talked to it a little bit, and he gave me some really good advice on making your Discord bot. So he's pretty good in doing that, and that was very nice. And Armful says it's literally the same in software. If you give up at your first hiccup, then it just proves you aren't in the right business. I didn't get to my position without failure. That's right. I kept going when people were laughing at me, letting it fuel me as opposed to dragging me down. Now I'm free of the 9-to-5 workplace. Hell, at an age of 20. Congrats. I'm always looking for ways to make this happen to genuinely passionate, self-driven individuals. That's really important. Every musician needs to be passionate and self-driven. If you don't have that, it's going to be fucking difficult for you in the music industry, because it's very cutthroat. Hence why I hire for a slope and not experience in my projects. Especially in software, you will not make it into business if you don't genuinely enjoy it. Yeah, that's what I think, and that's what I believe. I have not met a medium, small indie label owner like me who isn't in it for the passion, because it's not a great business, to be frank. You're doing it because you love it, because it interests you, because it's something really cool, because it's something you really want to do. And Ken is open to mentor. Ken is fucking weird, I'm telling you, but he's also partially genial. You know, so if you're doing anything with guitar, if you're doing anything with Americana, with country, come to our Discord server and ask the legendary bluesman Ken Tucker, that has made over 120 songs and I don't even, God knows how many chart placements about shit, and he will help you. And this is what I like about our community. If you come on our Discord server, if you work with us, you'll actually have people who give a shit. And you can ask these people who have massive amount of experience in your genre with the industry about stuff, and they'll let you know, and they'll talk to you about it completely normal. And this is, I think, the coolest thing that I made. The law stuff, the legal stuff is is necessary, but the community stuff is really awesome. Armful says, you and me are the same, only difference is that you're in music and I'm in software. Yeah, I used to be in software. I started my career as a software developer in 1994. I think my first job was in software in 1994. Since then it was quite the journey. Yeah, Ken Tucker says any musician without a burning desire for the craft belongs elsewhere. Yeah, and this is what I see a lot. I see people come in and they're like super motivated, and it lasts for like a whole of 3 months, and then they're frustrated and then they quit. You know, when it's actually a lifelong toiling and chipping away at shit. You know. Nothing comes easy to you if you're an artist. I don't think anything comes easy to you if you're a software developer or anything in the world, and for that matter. I think things come to people who keep working, who keep trying, who keep making, who are passionate, who love what they do. And if it's not what you love after, I don't know, 6 months or a year, then do something else. There's absolutely no shame in changing what you want to do. I did things I had to do because I come from a family background where we're poor. And so I had to work for 30 years to be able to afford to have my own companies. Because I had no support and no capability of starting anything when I was young. So for me, it was naturally to go to university, to start a normal job. And I worked my way all the way from intern to CEO of the company. And people said, you know, this really doesn't happen anymore. But I did. And then I said, I'm going to leave now. And people said to me, you're fucking insane. Why would you do that after a career like that? And I said, because my career isn't over. I'm just fucking starting. You know? But my own thing. And I'm happy that my country afforded me a university education, and that my former company afforded me the wealth to, you know, go ahead and do something else, and to pursue my dreams. But it's always been difficult. Every step of the way was difficult. It was never easy. Nothing ever came to me easy. I never won anything. Nobody ever came to me and said, hey, don't you want me to help you? I'm going to help you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that for you. Nope. I didn't have any influential people that I knew or anything like that. And if Harmful says software is annoying, but I love it. Doing it for 10 plus years now, 4 plus years commercially. I'm never going to quit. While my classmates were building Legos, I was building back-end infrastructure with my dad. Oh, shit. That's good. And Ken says, nothing worth doing is easy. No worthy goal can be reached without sacrifice. Yeah, very, very much that. And another thing, in the beginning, they always say you're crazy. I've never started an endeavor where at the start, people didn't think it was a joke. I was crazy. I was stupid. I was something like hit me on the head. Very, very, very rarely did I have support from the beginning. And I have to say the only thing that I had support from the beginning with, which is weird, but I'm going to say it, is the real estate company that we just started. Again, has nothing to do with music. That real estate company has a very specific business plan, and everybody who listened to it said, that is the fucking greatest idea I've ever heard. I want to work with you. I want to sell your houses. And I want to invest. And you know what we tell them then? Usually, We usually say no. We actually, for this, we don't need your help because it's so good. And so the only thing that people wanted to support me wholeheartedly with is the one thing that I actually don't need support for, because it's going to stand on its own legs, if you know what I mean. And that made me think that maybe people just want to join stuff that they think is really going to work, from the beginning. And Armful says, bro, when you're in a situation where people call you crazy, do not stop. It's literally one of the best signs you can see. How successful story. Oh, man. What can I say? I've been called crazy so many times in my life, I can't even count it anymore. If I now tell you what I have been called crazy for, I have been called crazy for advising my former very large company to invest heavily into electromobility systems. And they then said, you're crazy, electromobility is never going to happen. And that aged really well. And there was a whole bunch of other stuff that I even can't say or don't want to say, where people told me I'm just crazy. But I think that when you truly have vision, you're seeing things before other people see it, and this is what makes you successful ultimately in business. You see how things are going to be in 10 years. You see how things are going to be in 15 years or in 20 years. And most other people just don't see it. And this is what I think is going to make you successful, that look into a more distant future that other people don't necessarily have. And with musicians, it's the same. Every musician that is really a musician, that is really an artist, looks into the future and has in front of his eyes a vision of himself as the artist he wants to be in 20 years. And everybody else calls him crazy. That's never going to happen. You're never going to do that. You're never going to be good like that. Alien says, have you ever been to the loony bin? Only visiting people. I've never actually been committed myself. But I had some friends that had problems, and so I visited them there. Yeah, so I've been. And Armful says, genuine tip for any creative person reading: once you find a way to turn negativity, such as people not believing in you, haters, etc., into a motivational drive, you will become an unstoppable. This goes for any business. I particularly love it when people don't believe in me, because it subconsciously makes me want to prove them wrong. Armful, I'm going to do you one better. I take people's complete disapproval and them calling me crazy as an indicator that things are actually going to work. Just imagine, intelligence is completely distributed on a Gaussian curve. What the average person believes is going to work is a majority opinion and will never be a good business model, because when a whole lot of people believe the same thing, a whole lot of people are going to do the same thing. And then it's never going to be good business, because it's only good business when very few people do it, and you're one of the first of it. So once the average person understands your business model, it's too late. It's only the right time to start something, and it's the same for music, when people still don't get it. When you do something that people don't get, is when you're going down the right lane. Now, nobody's going to be able to tell you that what people don't get is going to be necessarily successful, but I can tell you that things that people really get are only going to be profitable for a short term. So the stuff that we're doing in real estate, people really get. And we know this has an end time of, I don't know, maybe 10 years. For the next 10 years, this is going to work, and then it's probably not going to work anymore. We know this, but we don't care, because for the next 10 years, we're going to make nice money from it. So know the limitations of your business model, and the way that I'm currently thinking about the music industry, and as far as we've progressed in terms of a label, what contracts that we offer, what technology we invest in, and all these things, we are like 10 years ahead of the curve of the rest of the music industry. People are contemplating things I implemented in people are contemplating to implement things in 2 years that I did in 2018. And this is one of the biggest points where I'm actually happy with myself, is to get into a new industry, the music industry, professionally. Being an artist and being in the music industry is something completely different. Getting into it, starting label in 2018, and already being like years ahead of the market. Now we still have to, monetize that and do some things, but I finally got ahead of the market. It always takes a while. You have to understand the market. You have to understand how it currently is, and then you have to think about the future, etc. So to get ahead of the market, like I was back then with electromobility, is really difficult, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of understanding. Armful says it's like our business model for Dash. We don't paywall features for functionality. Do you know how many bot developers call me crazy for that? I'll be the one laughing when we take all of their servers and users. We are currently thinking about new business models in music, and they're completely different than what people think. Currently, the entire industry is working to argue with Spotify if they should increase the payments for 10% or not. And I have, at every meeting of the industry, said, you're holding the wrong conversation. You should be thinking about how you can completely replace Spotify, and not to argue that they should pay you 10% more of royalties that are a 20th of what we used to make in music. They're already so severely underpaying us, and you want to argue with them for 10%. Fuck that. Talk about a platform and a way to distribute music and bring music to fans that will completely make Spotify useless. Obliterate them. And when I say things like that, people are like in the room, because they're like, yeah, so I think 7% are enough. And I'm like, holy fucking Christ, this person really doesn't get it. Are you telling me to make a music platform better than Spotify, because that wouldn't be hard? No, but I'm telling you that we could get together and I could tell you how the distribution of music in the future is going to look, because I spent the last 4 years fucking contemplating about it, and then we could make a technical platform to implement that, and it would be very, very fucking interesting. That's what I'm saying, now that I'm thinking about it. Because to me, I don't want to technically implement that. But I do know how people are getting to music in the next 5 to 10 years, and it's not Spotify. And Spotify is going to have a huge problem, because people are going to stop using their app, and then they're going to be done for, because the Spotify app is actually feebly shitty. And what we're doing, where we are researching, we are thinking of the future of music distribution and the future of working with artists. And Armful says, I can definitely talk to my team about it. We already made mock projects that outperform Spotify at scale. Yeah, but you have no idea how different it will be. But we should definitely talk about that, because I have pretty much dedicated plans on how to do things. I want to get to a point to where the artist and the person performing services for the artist get paid, and nobody else. No Black Knights, no tech platforms, no resellers, nothing. Spotify does not add any value in any capacity other than having a stranglehold over the market. And the way that people discover music is going to be different. Armful says, of course not, but if we are going to going off of Spotify being the golden standard in terms of quality, and the main thing we would change is how artist gets paid, then I already know how to plan, build, scale, and operate this whole ordeal. Yeah, there's... what can I say? There is the idea to integrate and make a continuous business model where Spotify failed. Spotify failed about 2 years ago at becoming a record label. And I know why they failed and how they failed. But I believe that the future of music is going to lie with the people that have the ability, the knowledge, and the skill to connect musicians with fans directly. And in that regard, they are going to be service providers to the musicians. Because currently, musicians are the bitches of Spotify. Slaves. In many regards, musicians have less rights than the slaves in the United States had towards Spotify. You are allowed to give them your music, and they pay you whatever they think is fair. You have absolutely no price control, and they will pay you whatever they think is okay. They commit to absolutely no quality of service whatsoever. They never say that anybody's ever going to see your music. So the terms are 100% in Spotify's favor. There is absolutely nothing that they give you in terms of negotiating any kind of decent contract. And I think there's an extreme amount of money in the music and in the creative industry. And I think if the team of Dash, which is a very competent technical team, and the team of Count Zero Records were to get together and to do something, I think it would be very interesting because you're putting together creativity and technology, and that's one of the big things coming up in the next 10 to 20 years. Things are going to change. Spotify is going to die within the next 5 to 10 years. They're definitely not going to make it longer than 10 years on. They're already showing signs of complete disintegration. Armful says, yeah, they give you a platform and not even a good one at that. That's absolutely right. And it's a very artist unfriendly platform and a very label unfriendly platform. Spotify has multiple times told us that they will not make a label page, because when you look at a Spotify song, you can always see at the bottom, Count Zero Records, copyright 22, Count Zero Records. And we've always, like every label, said, why don't you make it a clicky? Why don't you make it to where you can click and then there's a label page for Count Zero Records? You could see all the artists and all the music, etc. And they're like, yeah, no. Labels will never have a representation on our platform. I'm like, why? You hate us or what? And they're essentially, yeah. And they then made Spotify artist tools, and they give artists access to their data, but they do their best to keep labels away from the data, which is usually that labels get the data and they then crunch it and give some kind of like flashy graphic to the artist, but they really don't want to work with labels, and I know why. And it's the same for YouTube and others to a certain degree, We could literally take over the world. I have several teams working for me at them, so some of which are already changing the world behind the scenes. We can talk about more in private. But the Dash team is my main web backend team for social platforms. Yeah, it isn't something that could be done tomorrow. But it is something that I tend to believe to know where things are going, and I have, I have common sense on my side. Something has to change. We have 5.5 million releasing musicians, and they're not making minimum wage. Spotify recently released information that out of the 5.5 million artists that are on Spotify, 18,000 make minimum wage. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Out of 5.5 million artists, 18,000 are making minimum wage. And that includes all the old people, you know, like everything from Rolling Stones on. Everything that's licensed in their catalog from people that are like made music in the 60s. That doesn't include, you know, from people that are currently making music. It includes everybody, every catalog. 20,000 people, you know, that can live off the payments they receive from Spotify. And of course, there's more distributors other than Spotify. There's Apple, blah, 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 whatnot. I know, but Spotify has about 70% of the volume of streaming, so they're fairly significant, you know? Yeah, exactly, Armful. And that is the point. It should be 18,000 that are not making minimum wage. If it was, it could be half. It could be, I don't know. It could be any number. But this number tells you one thing. There's more than 5 million people who are professionally releasing music. Now, not all of them are great, but they're at least professionally releasing music. 10% are 500,000 people. 1% are 50,000 people. And 0.5% is making minimum wage. 0.5% of people are making minimum wage. We're talking about 99.5% of all musicians not making minimum wage. And in any industry, no matter if it's woodcutting, bricklaying, etc., if 99.5% of the people working in that industry are not making minimum wage, something is very, very wrong with that industry. And then you can think about why that would be. If you were a bricklayer, a drywall builder, no matter what it was, and out of 100 drywall builders, only one would make minimum wage and 99 would make less than minimum wage, everybody would jump in and say, hey, there's something wrong. You're seriously underpaying your dudes. And Spotify says, that's fine. You know what we're going to do? We're going to cut your payment in half. The current plan of Spotify is to cut the payment for artists in half. They call it Spotify Discovery. So that not 0.5% of all the artists make minimum wage, but 0.25% of all artists make minimum wage. That would make 99.75% of all the people that release music not make minimum wage. And I'm not a socialist, okay? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a lifelong member of the Conservative Party of Austria. But if I know anything about business, is that if you're in a business transaction and one side is getting fucked so bad that they're dying from it, that business cannot continue. The best business that you can possibly have is a business where everybody gets something, where everybody's like kind of happy. Maybe you make a little bit more than them, maybe they make a little bit more than you, but a business where one party is getting utterly destroyed usually eventually sees the party that is getting destroyed either revolting or walking out, but it's usually cannot continue. And Armful says Spotify literally only cares about the artists generating the money. That's right. The 15 people on Spotify make 85% of all the money. And all of these 15 people are acts that are signed by the owners of Spotify, by the 3 major labels. Guess what? Guess why? If you can't support the artists, how are they going to provide for themselves and keep providing you with music? That's right. They're just gonna make it for free, and people are like, yeah, they're just gonna make it for free, and I'm like, yeah, do you want to sample the quality of the people, what they can do for free, because they have to work 2 jobs to support themselves while on the side they're making music. You really think that's going to be the music of the future? No, we're just going to do it ourselves, So yeah, that's what I'm saying, If you make a business to where, you get 99.5% of the profit and your business partner who actually does all of the work gets 0.5% of the profit, then congratulations. You have successfully exploited people, but I do not think that this situation is going to last, because it can't last. And this is also, a lot of people that know me know that I always get on a soapbox. Yes. And Armful, as a software developer here, says the artist should be at least getting 25% of the income. That's right. Why would they not? Why should they not? Why should they not be able to live? Why should they not have food when all they work every day to make the music that everybody enjoys? Why? But I can tell you why. It's because Daniel Ek, the CEO and owner of Spotify, is worth $5 billion. His friend, Joe Schmo, I always forget his name, is worth now $3 billion. And there's a whole boardroom full of people that are now have billions of dollars in private equity, while artists are not even getting minimum wage. So you have dudes who are siphoning off tens of billions of dollars, and then you expect artists to be happy with a situation. Armful says if Spotify actually did their job to promote their music and take care of legalities, then 25% would be completely fair. The point is that many artists that I know, are people that do not have a lot of requirements for their life. They want to eat, they want to drink, they want to have a place to sleep, and they want to make music. But once they can no longer eat, and once they can no longer drink, and once they no longer have a home, it gets really, really difficult to make music. And most artists that I know, if I tell them that I can provide them with food, drink, and a home, or the money for it, are happy with it. Contrary to what what a lot of the very rich rappers and other people are doing, like driving around, flying around with private jets, etc., most artists are actually very modest people that would be happy with some square meals and a place to be, and place to plug their guitar in and record their shit. And that you're not that you as a company are not willing to afford your artists with that luxury, I think is very sad. If you have 5 million artists, and you're making $50 billion in revenue, something like that. I'm just making an example here. I'm not using actual numbers. $5,000 per 1 million stream would turn into more than 150K. Currently, I have 2 friends, and I'm gonna tell you real names, who collaborated on a song together. That song has 1 million streams, and they each got 900 euros from it, which is about $1,000. Artists currently are being paid $2,000 for 1 million streams. And a lot of artists don't have 1 million streams. And from $2,000 for 1 million streams, you can live 2 months. And you're not going to have a 1 million stream song every month, every second month. I don't know how many Norwegian kroners are the... Yes, the pay is different depending on which place they are. So if you get plays from a lot of people who have premium subscriptions to Spotify, you get more. And if you get plays from from people that don't have a premium subscription on Spotify, you get less. So if you have more like older people that have Spotify subscriptions, you'll get more. And if you have more like younger people that have free subscriptions, you get significantly less. This is why it's not a even number. You know what I mean? Because the number for free Spotify plays and the number for premium Spotify plays are, again, hugely different. So depending on what your fan base is, you can have, a certain amount of money or a certain other amount of money. And for them, they made EDM. A lot of people are young. A lot of people are on free plans. 1 million plays, they got $2,000 for it. So in order for them both, to make minimum wage, you can only imagine how many millions of plays they would need, And Armful says, how did today's society let such a horrible company take over the music streaming game? And this is exactly what I'm thinking to myself every single day. I have no words for the depth of depravity that comes out of that company, and the way that they try to make it seem like they're like the good guys that are for the artists, etc. It's such a fucking joke. Yeah, see, but now, Armful, you know what I'm dealing with every day. I'm dealing with people, and I'm not shitting you, that are getting evicted from home and have a song that has hundreds of thousands of plays, and I'm here to tell them, you made $25 this month and you're entitled to 12 and a half. And the guy and the person's getting evicted. What am I going to tell him? Even if I let you have all the money, you're by far... Yeah. And when you're making a music streaming platform, you should totally do it with me, because otherwise you're going to repeat all the mistakes that everybody did. But no, yeah. It's difficult. So they obviously had the viewership that wasn't good. So $2,000 for 1 million. They need not $20,000 between the two of them, in order to live in Austria. They need like so they don't need 10 million plays. They need like 20, 30 million plays. And this is the point. If you need 30 million plays on Spotify to make minimum wage, okay, that's two people. We should divide that. But if you're not making at least 10 million plays every year, you're not making minimum wage. And a 10 million plays artist is a minimum wage artist. That's a guy that has nothing. He has his house, his food, probably not even a car. So if you have 10 million plays a year, you're at the very bottom of existing. And this is what people don't understand. People are like, yeah, I got hundred thousands of plays. I'm like, yeah, great. You would make a lot more money working at McDonald's. Mr. J-Ox says, hey bro, don't you call your label Avio anymore? No, Avio is my name. My artist name is Avio. Jay, I am Avio, and the label is called Count Zero Records. And Armful says, we have an amazing team of engineers, developers, marketing experts, and designers, coupled with an amazing team of people who understand music. That's right. And I think when you get together like that, when you have a great technical team and you have a great creative and musical team, then you can make things happen. And I think that fairness is a very big part of that thing, because eventually fans are going to find out about all of this shit, and people are going to feel bad that they're supporting a platform that actively exploits artists and pays them pennies a month. And they as fans wouldn't, and this is the absurd part, they as fans wouldn't necessarily pay more. Just imagine you make a platform, you pay the same amount of money, and that platform just literally lets artists live. and you'd still make millions as the platform owner. You'd make millions. Not billions, but millions. And Ken has to go. I love you, Ken. Have a good time. I hope everything works out for you. So yeah. And Harmful says, if you're genuinely down to do something like that on a long-term scale, we can definitely talk. Yeah, absolutely. We need to finish what we talked about in private first and make that stable first, but then we can talk about other stuff. Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, I want to finish some projects here as well. And this would be something to where you're going into something that wouldn't be done tomorrow. You know, it will be a longer-term project with a lot of thinking, a lot of legalities. And things that need to be done right, but it will be it will be truly a hallmark project, you know. And all it needs to do is to be somewhat fair, you know. And I'm totally fine with making millions a year. You know what I mean? I cannot fathom how you and your buddies need to siphon billions out of a company because you're so fucking greedy that you cannot content yourself with a few 100 million. And you're squeezing all of your fucking artists because you need to have as much money as you possibly can. Why? Why? Are you gonna fucking eat the money when you die? Are you gonna have it buried with you in your grave when you're dead? I don't know. Do you need it to donate to end world hunger? What? Why would you be that boundlessly greedy? Why would you not make a platform where everybody benefits and people are never everybody's gonna be happy, but people can at least live. You know, take out of the 10 billion that you siphoned off, take 2 billion and say, look, there's 5 million artists. We have 2 billion. That's 2,000 divided by 500. You know, so we can get some money to people. We can, like, I don't know, give everybody a certain amount of money for every song they have. I don't know, whatever, you know. So Ken has like 100 songs up. He could get $100 a month. Just get $1 per song that you upload that isn't shit. I don't know, something, you know. And Armful says, I'm definitely going to be a billionaire, but I'm not going to exploit people to get there. I'm going to make sure the money goes to the right place. Yeah. And I think, and this always has been my business ethic. And a lot of people that are, you know, in the conservative sphere and that are economists like myself, I don't know. I've never had a problem understanding ethical business. But so many people seem to have. So many people have like these contrarian attitudes to where they tend to believe that everything they get needs to be something that they're taking away from somebody else. Whereas my approach was always, you create value and then you share value. You know, whereas a lot of people's idea is like you transfer value, which means I'm stealing shit from you. I'm taking it from you, you know? And my idea is like, let's create value. Let's build something together and then share it. And other people are like, let's take it away from somebody who's an idiot. You know, I guess you can do both. And I'm very sad that Spotify decided to have the latter model to where they're like, you know, let's take money away. If my platform made 10 billion off 50,000 artists, then everybody contributing to that is getting their fair share. Yeah. Of course, there's the thing is that a lot of artists that don't have a lot of plays and don't have their music heard, but you're gonna have to come to some form of payment for people that are not famous, because at the end of the day, you're paying a bricklayer even if they're not famous. You know what I mean? So maybe a artist that doesn't perform really well isn't going to get enough to sustain himself, and he still has to work a job, and that's just the reality. But to say that there's a very, 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 very tiny population that makes even minimum wage, and then even less than that actually make a nice and decent amount of money off of it, That is just a joke. You should endeavor that, I don't know, maybe 50% of all artists could live or could have a significant portion of their income from their music royalties. Yeah, it should be the other way around. Absolutely, it should be that it should be the exception that you couldn't live off music. And I'm saying full-time artists here. I'm not saying people that are making one song every year. I'm not saying amateurs. I'm not saying people that just dabble. I'm not saying people that are, like, okay, I'm going to release a song and the next year I'm going to release a song. I'm talking about people like my people that make a great album every year. Every year, one great album, plus videos, plus streams, plus performances, blah, blah, whatnot. They're doing it. They're in the studio, and I fucking know it because I see the pictures, and they're telling me, they're sending me their stuff. They're working. It's their fucking job. They're in the studio working, doing it. These people should be able to survive. And then maybe some of the hobbyists. Maybe not. But if you're working a full-time job as a musician, you should be able to live from it. Or we should endeavor to do that. Okay, Armful says, honestly, to build a platform right, then it would be the artist's fault for not making a living. That is a very good point that you're raising, and that's going to be the last point that I make before I close at around 10. If something hinders the artist, I don't want it to be the platform. I want it to be that in a transparent way, the artist can see that compared to other songs, their song maybe didn't do as good, 100 people listened to it, but they kind of didn't like it, so that it's not some kind of unfair bullshit that threw them under the bus. And then, of course, artists are going to say, well, I'm making a kind of music that not a lot of people like. And I also very much get that. And there's something you can do to help there. But at the end of the day, what you cannot protect artists from is that they're making music that nobody wants to hear. That is also a reality that's going to sink in for many artists. But it's just the truth, But for those that make music that people want to hear, for those that work all day on releasing new stuff, they should be getting it, and the others should be getting a fair shot, fair data, and a fair compensation for what it was worth that they created. Because even if you fail, I think you're owed an explanation as of to why you failed. And the platform should provide that explanation so that people could draw their conclusions from it. They could say, my type of music is maybe not good for streaming because I'm doing, I don't know, polka folk. But there's probably a market for me in marriage music because there's a lot of, I don't know, Eastern Europeans that are marrying in my area and they want to have the music of the homeland or something. Not everything is going to have mass appeal, but a fair platform should give you decent data, which of course Spotify doesn't want to do because Spotify massively manipulates the way that people discover music and kind of points people toward the artists that they want them to go to with all the playlists. I mean, when Spotify killed all the independent playlists, there used to be a time when 90% of discovery, people finding music was done on independent playlists, and when Spotify found that out, they waged a war of extermination. And now 98% of all discovery is done on Spotify playlists. It was one of the biggest wars was with independent playlisters. It cannot be that people listen to the music that they like. People need to listen to the music that Spotify tells them to listen to. And this is also some bullshit. If somebody, why would you permanently be offered Kanye West and Ed Sheeran if the system already knows that you don't want to listen to them? And that's very easy because they're the promoted artists. They're the artists that are owned by the labels that own Spotify. I don't have anything against Kanye West and Ed Sheeran. Not in the slightest bit. I'm just saying that this is what happens, Oh, so you like Eastern European ethno-folk. How about Kanye West? Oh, thank you very much. You know what I mean? That is it. All right, guys. That was a very interesting Music Industry Monday with me. My name is Avio, and the label is not called Avio. It's my name. Our label is called Count Zero Records. If you're interested in talking with us, there's a link down here. It says countzerorecords.com/Discord. You can join us on Discord and talk with managers, artists, software developers like Armful, who's making a new bot, and artists in all kinds of stages. Thank you for the conversation, Armful. It was interesting. Nuya as well, and everybody else who's on Reddit and everywhere else. Join us on Discord if you want to stay connected. We do this, we're on Discord all the time. If you're interested in our music bot, you can go to countzerorecords.com/DMB, Discord music bot. You can add it to your server. It only has a few slots free. We're still waiting for the verification from Discord. So thank you so much for being on here. If you're interested, I'm going to be coming back on Wednesday at 2000 Central European Time. My name is Avio. My label is Count Zero Records. I love you all, and have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon, I guess. See you on Discord. Bye. Which one am I going to do? Shit, where's my extra? Is that the extra? Yeah, let's do the Croatian, the Ukrainian extra. Thanks, guys, for being on here. I love you all. Have a great day.
Ой, у лузі червоні